Many of the times, we often wonder which countries are the strongest and which ones happen to be the weakest. There are many, to be honest, but out of which, Russia specifically holds a different spot when it comes to its weaponry and arsenal. Because the Russian armed force is something that will give an overwhelming sense of strength and power. With that said, let's dive deep into this video and find out what exactly makes the Russian armed force so strong. The Russian armed forces, being the world's second most powerful military, possesses the greatest stockpile of nuclear weapons. It has the world's second largest fleet of ballistic missile submarines and is one of only 3 militaries with strategic bombers. Not to mention, the Russian armed forces possess the greatest tank forces in the world, as well as the second most formidable air force and navy fleet. Russia spends the 4th highest amount on defense in the world. Back in 2020, it spent around $61.7 billion on defense alone. The Russian armed forces are also known as Russian military forces. They are classified as ground forces, naval forces, and aerospace forces. Additionally, there are 2 autonomous service branches, the Strategic Rocket Forces and the Airborne Troops. According to Russian federal law, the Russian armed forces, along with the other branches like Border Troops of the Federal Security Service, the National Guard, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Foreign Intelligence Service, and the Federal Protective Service constitute Russia's military services and are directly under the control of the Russian Security Council. The Russian armed forces are one of the world's largest militaries, with approximately 1 million active duty people and at least 2 million reserve personnel. All male citizens aged 18 to 27 are required to be drafted for a year of duty in the armed forces. The Russian Federation's Defense Ministry is the administrative authority for the armed forces. Since Soviet times, the General Staff has served as the primary leading and supervising body of the Russian armed forces. U.S. analyst William Odom stated in 1998 that a Soviet General Staff without the Ministry of Defense is possible, but a Ministry of Defense without the General Staff is not. However, as the General Staff's position is being reduced to that of the Ministry's Strategic Planning Section, the minister may gain additional executive control over the military. Additional departments include the Personnel Directorate, the rear of the Russian Federation's armed forces, railway troops, signal troops, and construction troops. Back in July 2018, a military political directorate was established, reintroducing ideological training into the Soviet armed forces. There exist 2 autonomous service branches, the Strategic Missile Troops and the Russian Airborne Troops. The armed forces as a whole are traditionally referred to as the Army, with the Navy being expressly mentioned in some instances. Russia's 4 naval fleets and 1 flotilla were comparable to the military districts of the ground forces. These 7 military districts have been consolidated into the 4 new MD, which now include the aerospace and naval forces. There is only 1 remaining Russian military base in Armenia. It is the 102nd Military Base and is part of the Southern Military District. Mid-2010 saw the announcement of a reorganization that combined military districts and the Navy's fleets into 4 joint strategic commands. The Northern Fleet was formed into a separate Joint Strategic Command in 2014. This command has been designated a military district as of 1 January 2021. The Russian Federation is home to approximately 70% of the former Soviet Union's defense sector. Numerous defense companies have been privatized. Others have formed significant ties with foreign enterprises. Recent advances in modernizing the armed forces have been made feasible by Russia's economic renaissance, which is based on oil and gas revenues, as well as the growth of the domestic market. The State Armament Program for 2011 to 2020 was initiated back in December 2010 as a result of lessons learned during the Russo-Georgian War. Prime Minister Putin indicated that in the next decade, 20 to 21.5 trillion rubles, which approximates to more than 650 billion US dollars, will be dedicated to the procurement of new hardware. The goal is to increase modern equipment in the Army, Navy, and Air Force by 30% by 2025 and 70% by 2030. the share of new armaments in some categories will approach 80% or perhaps 100%. The Russian Ministry of Defense now intends to acquire up to 250 intercontinental ballistic missiles, 800 aircrafts, 1,200 helicopters, 44 submarines, 18 cruisers, 24 destroyers, 36 frigates, 28 corvettes, 6 aircraft carriers, and 62 air defense battalions. Talk about all the insane arsenal. Russia got it all. Numerous existing types will be modernized. According to the Defense Ministry, the share of modern and advanced weapons in various branches of the Russian armed forces exceeded 60% since 2015. Since 2012, the armed forces have received approximately 30,000 units of new and upgraded weapons and equipment, including more than 50 warships, 1,300 aircrafts, over 1,800 drones, 4,700 tanks, and armored combat vehicles. Additionally, the Russian army obtains 150 to 250 aircrafts and around 300 short-range unmanned aerial vehicles per year. As of 2011, Russia's chief military prosecutor estimated that 20% of Russia's defense budget was stolen or scammed each year. The Russian armed forces acquired 35 types of weapons and military equipment in 2018 and successfully concluded official testing on another 21 types. In the same year, the Russian Ministry of Defense purchased the YE-SU-TZ Battlefield Management System. The YE-SU-TZ Battlefield Management System is comprised of 11 subsystems that are responsible for the control of artillery, ground vehicles, electronic warfare systems, engineering equipment, air defense assets, and logistics support. The U.S. federal government and several other countries provided substantial financial assistance to Russia's nuclear forces in the early 1990s. Numerous friendly countries provided enormous sums of money in exchange for Russian arms procurement deals that kept Russian agencies operational. This money was used to partially finance the decommissioning of warheads following international agreements, such as the Cooperative Threat Reduction Program, but also to enhance security and employee training at Russian nuclear facilities. On 11 September 2007, late in the evening, the fuel-air explosive AVPUM, called the father of all bombs, was successfully field-tested, and according to the Russian military, the new weapon will eventually replace numerous smaller nuclear weapons in the country's stockpile. So, what do you think of Russian armed forces? Let us know in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, as that really helps us bringing amazing content to you every day. Moreover, if you want to see more contents like this one, make sure to press the bell icon so that you get the VIP access to our future videos whenever they get uploaded. With that said, thank you for watching everybody, and I'll see you in the next video.